Morning to you all. Welcome to Map Reading Made Easy. In our topic today, we are going to look at drainage and drainage patterns. Understanding drainage and drainage patterns. What do we mean by drainage? Drainage in map reading refers to the way rivers, streams flow in an area, where they take their source from, where they flow into, how they flow, the patterns they make, all is what is involved in drainage. Now, look at this map. Can you see the rivers or streams? On maps, rivers, streams, or any water body is usually shown with blue ink. Can you see blue ink? Can you see the blue lines there? They show rivers and streams. So on colored maps, they appear blue. Now, a river normally flows downslope and not upslope. If you want to know the direction of flow of a river, the values of the contours would give you a hint. Rivers can't flow upslope. No, rather they flow down slope. Can you see the two pictures in A and B? Can you see the two pictures in A and B? Yes, rivers can only flow in A. Can you see it? Why? Because they flow from upslope, downslope. What do we mean? See the contour values 400, 300, 200, 100. Can you see it? That's why the arrow is showing down. So if you want to know the direction of flow of a river, look at the contour values. It will give you a hint. Rivers flow down slope. Very hard for a river to go up slope. Now, that's what we call a tributary. A tributary is a river that flows into a main river. For example, you can see a main river here, and you can see the branches. Those branches are called tributaries. Tributaries. Can you see them? Can you see the main river? Can you see the tributaries? Where two rivers join together, that point is called a confluence. Can you see a confluence? Let's move on. Now, there's what we call drainage basin. This is an area of land drained by a main river and its tributaries. An area of land drained by a main river and its tributaries. Can you see a drainage basin? Can you see a drainage basin? All the area enclosed by this cycle you are seeing. Can you see the brown dots? So all the areas included in that circle is a drainage basin. Now, there's what we call a watershed. A watershed divides two drainage basins. It is a boundary between two drainage basins. So that line, that brown line you see, made with dots, separates this basin from another one. So it's the watershed. Now that's what we call a flood plain. Flood plain is an area along the river course which is very gentle. It has contour lines well spaced apart. It is normally covered by water in the rainy season when the river overflows its bank. A flood plain is an area along the river course which is usually very gentle. How do you know this? The contour lines are well spaced apart. It is normally covered by water in the rainy season when the river overflows its bank. This is an example of a flood plain. This is Paraná flood plain in Brazil. Now, this area is usually flooded during the rainy season. That is why it's advisable that people don't build their houses on flood plains. Now we are going to look at drainage patterns. Drainage patterns. Individual stream can form any of these three patterns. One, a straight pattern. Can you see the arrow? Can you see the river? It's flowing straight. The river is flowing straight. So this is a straight pattern. This occurs when the river does not swing from side to side. Rather, it flows straight. Number two, we have a meandering pattern. A meandering pattern. This occurs when the river swings from side to side. Can you see the river? Can you see it swinging from side to side? This is a meandering pattern. Now we have a braided pattern. A braided pattern occurs when the stream divides into several branches which join up again into a single channel downstream. Can you see? Can you see? The river divides. Can you see the dry ground? It divides, then closes up again, then divides again, then closes up again. This is a braided pattern. However, where two or more streams come together, other patterns are formed. Let's see the common ones. That's what we call dendritic pattern. Dendritic pattern. This is a pattern in which the main stream and its tributaries look like a tree and its branches. When you see a stream and its tributaries forming what looks like a tree with its branches, it's a dendritic pattern. Can you see it? Like a tree having its branches. This is dendritic. Then we have trellis pattern. This is a pattern on which the tributary streams are roughly parallel and join the main stream at right angles. They form right angles. Can you see? Can you see the main streams? Can you see the tributaries joining them at right angles. Now we have radial pattern. This refers to a drainage pattern which involves streams radiating outwards from a central point or area. It involves what? Streams radiating outwards. It flows outwards from a central point. Like this. Can you see the streams flowing from a hill? Can you see the streams flowing out from a hill? Let's move on. Then we have centripetal pattern. This refers to a drainage pattern which involves streams flowing inward into a lake. Here, the streams flows inward into a lake. Can you see it? They flow into a lake, centripetal. Let's move on. That's what we call annular pattern. Annular pattern. This is a pattern of drainage in which the main stream more or less encircles a central elevation, as you can see in the diagram. The stream encircles a central elevation. Can you see it? Can you see a hill? The stream more or less encircles it. This is an example of an annular pattern. Now, this is where we are going to stop today. Until I come your way again in our next lesson. This is John Abdul saying, stay safe and stay tuned.